Greetings, guys. It's been a little while since we've done a video, but I wanted to do a pre-video for a series I'm going to try and work on here lately on reviewing arguments made in a prominent Campbellite work called Muscle and a Shovel. It's a popular book among churches of Christ that are used as evangelism tools and a way to get out their message, and arguments that are used to hook in people into their movement. As you can see here, I'm on the Amazon page for Muscle and a Shovel. It says that there are 1 million copies that have been sold worldwide. They boast over 90,000 people being baptized into their movement because of this work. It's a story of how Michael Shanks left the Baptist church and eventually joined the Church of Christ through a fellow by the name of Randall. However, while coming across this work, I checked to see if anybody had done a critique of this work already, and it turns out there have been pushbacks from those already in the Campbellite movement. As you can see here, there's a work called, let me scroll up here so we can see it, Muscle and a Shovel, a review by John Mark Hicks. He points out in his book there are things he does like, but there are some serious flaws in the book. And the review is a short book, about 68 pages, where he brings out a lot of problems in argumentation and approach. And as I was scrolling through to see the reviews of the work, to see who had talked about it, I was surprised to see none other than Michael Shanks himself posting a review back in August the 29th of 2014. Here's what he said in response to the critique. Dear Brother John Hicks, wonderful review and rebuttal of my book, Muscle and a Shovel. You have a talent for writing, and I'm flattered that you would use my material as a jumping point for your book. Let me say that I truly appreciate your feedback, especially in the form of a book. I also believe that you've offered a powerful rebuttal to Randall. Friend, I wrote my story in love and truth. I didn't want to write Muscle and a Shovel because I thought that it was simply an extended testimonial, something the churches of Christ do not practice. Thank God for my loving and wise wife who encouraged me to put it into book form. I'm deeply sorrowful that you feel as though Muscle and a Shovel has a bitter legalistic tone. I truly am. It was difficult to expose myself as the worldly and simple person that I was at the time. You covered a lot of ground, so much so I couldn't begin to address each point in this type of forum. I will only say that you have brought out points that I've never considered. I can say with all honesty that I meant no disrespect toward any one person, any institution, or any denomination. Brother, I simply told the truth. Yes, I was a man of low moral character. Randall taught me the scriptures, and I am so very grateful to God for him. You have done a wonderful job at analyzing the theological and philosophical aspects of the book, along with the negative and problems with the story. I commend you for that. My work, Muscle and a Shovel, is certainly flawed. I want everybody to catch that. I can only say to you that I spoke the truth of my journey. Again, no animosity was intended toward the individuals in the story. Animosity was only geared toward the teachings that opposed the Bible. My singular objective was to write my story with the one purpose to reach someone like me who was lost. No more than that. Our Father in heaven has used this humble work to lead over 13,000 to obey the gospel at this point. To God be the glory. Ironic considering Campbellite groups are anti-reformed theology, but we'll just pass over that. Now here's a big point I want to hone in right here. I apologize for my mistakes in the book. I sincerely apologize to anyone has been offended by this work. My only prayer is that the lost and perishing will see what they need to do to follow our Master. I despise legalism and simply want us to unify with that single mind and single purpose that those precious people had in the first century. I pray your book, Muscle and a Shovel, a review, does well and blesses you and your family. I love your soul and pray that as brothers we can attain that unity of faith that Paul speaks of so often. Brother, God's richest blessings upon you and all those you love. Michael Shanks, author of Muscle and a Shovel. So, Michael Shank volunteers a review that was critical of his work and admits to errors and flaws in the book. The book remains in print. It has not been changed. It has not been edited. Yet it's continued to be promoted. We only have to ask the question, why? So here it is, back up here again, so you can see, directly from Michael Shank, August the 29th, 2014. He acknowledges his work is flawed, yet he continues to use a flawed and error-filled work to advance the cause of the Campbellites. You have to wonder why certain groups continue to push the use of this book when the author himself says the work is trash. Just something to think about.